Children, today we are going to discuss about the topic functions. The definition of the function states that every element in the domain must have unique image in the codomain, right? And every function is a specific type of relation, and we can say that function is such that A is mapped as B. That means the image of element of A is mapped as B, right? See children, what are functions? Functions are a specific type of relation. That means all relations are not functions, but there are few relations which we call them as a function, right? In which when the specific image is defined, then we say that the relation will be called as the function. Okay, so in function there is a specific image, there is a you can say that exact image, and in relation it could be any image, right? So this differentiate between a function and a relation, right? Now we discuss few examples in which we study that whether the relation is a function or not. Let's see this example. First one, this is the arrow diagram in which you can say that in the first circle there are the elements of A, and the second circle there are the elements of B, right? Now you can see that the image of 1 is A, the image of 2 is B, and the image of 3 is D. So you can see that every element in the domain has a defined image in the codomain, and every element of the domain have unique image in the codomain. So we can say that from the definition, every element in the domain must have unique image in the codomain, that this is a function. Okay. Now let's see the second example. Is this a function? Yes children, can you tell this is a function or not? You can see the arrow diagram. It violates the definition. The definition says every element in the domain must have unique image in the codomain, and you can see that in the domain 3 is left out. 3 does not have any image, right? The image of 3 is not defined in the codomain, so this is not a function, right? Let's discuss this example. Is this a function or not? You can see that here this is again an example of relation, not a function. Why? Because the image of 2 is not unique. There are two elements which are the image of 2, B and C, right? So 2 is the pre-image of two elements, B and C. So definition says every element in the domain must have unique image in the codomain. So this again violates the definition, and this is not a function, right? So we can say that the elements of B are the image of A, and the elements of A are the pre-image of B. So this is all about function. Every element of domain must have unique image in the codomain, and the images will be the range of the function. Let's see this example. Y equals to root x. If x equals to 9, so you have to say that, comment that, is this a function or not? Y equals to root x. Let's solve this. If we put x equals to 9, so it will become y equals to root 9, and the square root of 9 is plus minus 3. So you can say that when you put 9, the image of 9 is 2. Two images we are getting, plus 3 and minus 3. That means the image is not unique. When the image is not unique, then the function will be, then this relation will not be a function. So root x is not a function. It does not have unique image. Right children? Note down. Children, next we are going to study about the types of functions. So there are many types of functions, few types of common functions we are going to discuss here. We're starting with the real functions. What are real functions? We can say that if f is such that A is mapped as B, then a function is said to be real functions if the domain and codomain are subsets of a real number. Okay. So both, if domain and codomain both are the subsets of real number, then the function will be a real function. And if only codomain is a subset of real number, then the function will be a real valued function. So the definition of real valued function is f is such that A is mapped as B, a function is said to be a real valued function if the codomain is the subsets of a real number, right? So next type of function is identity function. Children, what is identity function? It is represented as y equals to x. Okay, when the image and the its pre-image both are same, right? So it is represented by this arrow diagram like this. When A is mapped as B, the image of 1 is 1, the image of 2 is 2, the image of 3 is 3. That means if we say that what is the domain of the function, so the domain of the function will be real number. You take any real number here, the same image you will get here. So the range of the function will be again the real number, right children? So this type of function is called identity function. Now come to the fourth type of function, which is a constant function. What is constant function? It is represented by the arrow diagram like this. It is algebraically written as y equals to b. Y equals to b. B is any constant, right? That means if you represent this function by the arrow diagram, that means the image of 1 is b, the image of 2 is b, the image of 3 is b. Any element you take in set A, the image will be same b. Okay, and if you draw the graph of the function, it will represent a line which is parallel to x-axis. Okay, so the domain of the function will be a real number. For any real value, you will get the image b, and the range of the function will be the constant b. Right children? Note down please. Okay children, next type of function is modulus function. What is modulus function? That means it is represented by this bar x. That means for whatever value of x, positive or negative, the result will always be positive. That means if you put a modulus of -4, you will get +4. You will get mod of -3, you will get +3, right? So modulus function is defined as the value of modulus function will be -x when x is less than 0, and the value of the modulus function will be +x when x is greater than or equal to 0. Okay, the graph of the function, if we draw, it is represented by like this. That means if you take 1, you will get the image 1. If you take -1 domain, the image of -1 will be 1. That means for elements, either you take 2 or you take -2, the image will always be positive in case of modulus function. Right children? So from here we can say that the domain of this modulus function is all real numbers, and the range of the modulus function will be only positive real numbers. So we can also write positive real number as from 0 to infinity, plus infinity. Right? So modulus function understood children. Next we are going to discuss about signum function. What is signum function? Any function which can be represented as the value of the function is between 1, 0 and -1. That means the value of the function is 1 for all the values greater than 0. The value of the function will be 0 for input value 0, and the value of the function will be -1 when for all the values less than 0. The graph is represented like this. You can see when x is 0, y is 0. When x is greater than 0, the value of the function is 1. For all the values greater than 0, the value of the function is always 1. And for all the values less than 0, the value of the function is -1. You can see here. Any value you take x less than 0, the value of the function is -1. Right? Next is domain and range of the function, signum function. The domain of the function is defined for all real numbers, and the range of the function will be only 3 values, -1, 0 and 1. Right children? Next is greatest integer function. What is greatest integer function? See children, greatest integer function is defined as, we write x in this square brackets. Okay, square brackets representing this function, greatest integer function, right? And if we draw the graph of greatest integer function, so it will be like this. That means if you write in square bracket 2.7. So 2.7 one number written. What is the greatest integer you can find out from here? It is 2. Right. So that means for all the values between 0 and 1, the value of the function will be 0. For all the values between minus 1 and 2, the value of the function will be 1. That means if you write 1.5 here in the square bracket, the value of the function will be 1. If you write 1.7 for in the square bracket, the value of the function will be 1. 1.9 in the square bracket, the value of the greatest integer function will be 1. Right, children? That means for all the values between 1 and 2, the value of the greatest integer function will always be 1. Okay. So let's discuss few examples. So greatest integer function, suppose in square bracket is written 2.7. So the image of the function will be 2. And suppose it is negative value written. So what is the greatest integer function of 2.9 minus 2.9? Yes, minus 3. Right, children? So this way we have discussed a few types of functions from here. Now we will discuss how to find the domain and range. Right? Note down please. Children, now we are going to discuss about the algebra of function. Suppose if you multiply, the first point says if you multiply any constant to the function, it is equally multiplied to the whole function. Right? Second point, if you add or subtract any two functions, that means those two functions will actually be added. We can actually add and subtract those two functions. That means if it is written f plus g into x, that means it is written fx plus gx or fx minus gx. Right? Suppose it is written f into g x, that means you can actually multiply fx into gx. Right? And fourth and the last, f upon g into x it is written, then it means it is, you can write as fx upon gx, where gx will not be equal to 0. When it becomes 0, that means the fraction will be not defined. Right? Let's discuss one example to understand the algebra more clearly. Suppose if we take any function fx as x and gx as x square plus 1. Right, children? Now, if you have to calculate the value of f plus g into x, then the value of f plus g into x will be fx plus gx. We have studied earlier here, second point. Right? Now, when we add these two functions, the value of fx is x and the value of gx is x square plus 1. What will we get? X square plus x plus 1. Right? Suppose it is written, you have to calculate the value of f minus g into x. Then this means it is written fx minus gx. Then fx is x minus gx. When you do, the sign will change and it will become x minus x square minus 1. Right? And third, f into g into x, f into gx. That means it is written fx into gx and fx is x, gx is x square plus 1. When you multiply, you will get this value. And this is when we divide and gx is not equal to 0, we'll get the value of f upon g into x is fx upon gx. That will be x upon x square plus 1. Right, children? Note down please.